What is good, nation? Beards, Brews, and Bros is back and better than ever, and in my case, black and better than ever. This is K Rob flying high with Mr. Byron Moss this week. Jared is taking a bit of a breather, and Lord knows his job is whooping his butt, and he needs it. So we're gonna take the lead. It's all good. He's gonna get
He's
his rest.
he's, he's living that overnight factory life.
Hey, and I'm doing the overnight stuff myself, but hopefully not for much longer. But hey, we appreciate the Brew Crew for joining us for another really fun episode. And at the time of this recording, it will be Father's Day will have passed. So we want to go ahead and give a special shout out to all the great dads of the world, including Jared, especially Jared, and all the great fathers and my family, yours, and everybody who's listening. We super appreciate all you're doing and Father's Day is awesome. Hopefully, y'all get real gifts and not ties. No
Yeah.
bullshit though. I wouldn't. I'd be cool with getting draws.
Yeah.
I'm officially that person.
When you get old enough to that you no longer care about like fun little gifts, you're like, I need practical gifts because I don't want to spend the money myself.
However, however, these you don't get too many windows of opportunity to get like a cool ass gift. So for the dads out there, if somebody's gonna hook you up, cool, make it happen. Like right now, I am drinking my beer out of this best dad ever mug that I've had since basically my daughter was a baby, and it's a little faded, but it's got a mustache on it, so cherish these things, man. So hey, Byron, how's everything been? Glad to see you. You look like the stunt double of Harry Potter. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good. Gonna get my hair cut this weekend. Looking forward to that.
Hey, you look like shit.
Yeah, my wife keeps telling me you need a haircut. You need a haircut. You need a haircut. So we're going down to Popper Bluff. We're gonna get haircuts on Saturday. Spend the weekend with my mom. Uh, I'm really happy that we get to do that because this is like the I think 8th year after my dad passed.
Damn, man.
So also I want to give a shout out to all of the people out there whose dads are no longer with them. I know it's a rough time, but stay strong.
Absolutely. Just like with Mother's Day, everybody celebrates, and some don't have the privilege to. And no matter what side of that part of life you're on, just want you to know you're always in our thoughts, and keep at it. To quote one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, Dustin Rhodes, keep stepping. Got to keep on keeping on, baby.
Yep,
Uh,
keep on
but
keeping on.
speaking of haircuts, have you seen my shit? Look at this.
You can put a pick in that.
Well, actually my pick is right next to me. As a matter of fact, you know what? For this one, I just might. I need to get to my barber bad. I just don't. I lack this thing called money right now. See,
Oh, I get that, dude. Like, the next several paychecks for me are gonna go towards paying 2 months rent at or essentially rent at two different places plus fees for moving stuff and whatnot. So it's gonna be all kinds of fun.
Yeah, an absolute thrill. God,
Yeah. Oh, it's
adulting zero out of 10.
well. What's gonna be really fun is we got when we were the place we're moving into. We got told that we were walking through and looking at it that we could actually paint the walls.
Ooh, right
We're gonna
on.
double we're gonna double check that. So guess what that means? It means the day we get our damn keys, if it's true, we're, we gotta go get paint. And guess who's gonna spend the day painting?
Hey, not Rachel.
Well, oh, no, she's not getting out of this. I'm not doing this by myself. It's like she wants this shit painted. She's got to be there to help.
All right, bet.
And then
Well,
the following day, moving all the furniture and everything in.
yeah, that's not fun.
You
It's
know,
been a while since I had to do a moving day.
God, it sucks because it's like, oh hey, we're moving here. We got everything moved up there. Now back to the old place and do a fucking deep clean.
Yeah, because you got to make sure like, everything's got to be spot cleaned and deep cleaned before you even start thinking of moving your actual stuff in.
Yeah, so it's like the 18th is potentially paint day, 19th is furniture, 20th is deep clean.
That's not gonna be fun whatsoever. So,
No,
after we had a phone conversation with Mr. Jared Mossman this week, and he informed us that his son, which this should not be a surprise to any of us, and for those who've listened to his show and listened to Jared talk, you shouldn't be surprised by this either. His son is dropping f bombs. Even worse, he said it to Jared's mother, who is the most saintly human being we probably know.
Facts.
So I'm like, hold on, hold it, hold it, hold it. I have never heard that woman get upset about anything except for the time that I called the house really late after leaving the pony, and she answered. It was like 4 in the morning, but her grandson cussed at her. Now, in our households, this would not have gone that far. I'll be damned in a half if any grandbaby, let alone child, is gonna be speaking out of turn like that.
You'd be picking your mouth off the floor.
Yeah, in Stoddard County, about 20 miles away. But it gets me thinking because as we are children of a very irreverent, politically incorrect decade and a half for some those of you who are mid to late 80s children, you had to have gotten your vulgarity from some place. Now, and in my household, see, I don't think you've met my mom. I don't think you've
Nope.
met my mother.
I've never met
Jared
your mom.
has a plenty. Jared has a plenty.
Yep.
And if anyone ever, they don't have to go far to figure out where I got my mouth from. I think my mom mastered the art of cursing because I think it's a black parents thing, quite frankly. So I don't know how things went when you got an ass whooping, but black parent has to tell you this. They have to remind you of what you did per swat to either your ass or thigh. Every swat is a word. It goes something like, "Didn't I tell yo motherfucking ass?" and so on and so forth. There you go. I got plenty of ass whoopings as a kid.
Same.
So that's where that like mine's kind of easy, honestly. And then you add in hearing Russell Simmons' Def Comedy Jam, probably the greatest stand up comedy show of all time. Actually, ain't no probably, it just is. And I remember getting an ass whooping for saying the word dick a lot. I kept repeating it. Of course, when you're a child, you don't understand this little thing called context 9 times out of 10.
Mhm.
So I couldn't figure out why did I get my ass whooped for saying a guy's name because I'm dumb. Like I'm smart and dumb at the same time, you know. So I never understood that. But yeah, trust and believe. I heard a whole lot of obscenities in my house growing up. Was it the same for you? Like, where did you get your early days of potty mouth?
I think honestly it might have been like some cuss words from Major League when I first heard,
Oh, the best movie ever.
and then like going from a private Christian school to a public school is an eye opener.
Yeah, always is.
So
I can
when
imagine.
you're around people and whatnot who just let shit fly in the locker room,
Yeah,
like that's where I started getting my potty mouth from.
it'll definitely do. Also having watched late '90s World Wrestling Federation television sure didn't help either.
I mean, I wasn't really allowed to watch any of that. Like my mom kept me away from watching any of that. So
I
like
can believe that actually.
I wasn't like I got older and like discovered YouTube that I started watching like the '90s stuff.
And then you go back, you're like, whoa. And the thing is, of that time, if for kids who did watch wrestling, you didn't have access to the most foul-mouthed promotion, ECW.
Nope.
And God forbid you listen to those promos, especially an old school Dudley Boys promo back in the day. That stuff was brutal. Point is, just about everybody has had, everybody's got, a source of why they cuss a lot. Now, for everybody in my family, except my sister Ashley, who I've never heard swear a day in her life, it all comes from our mother. And she's the queen, she's the rock of our family, no doubt about it. But at the same time, yeah, if you know, you know, ain't no
Yep.
question in that. I was just tickled and not I didn't even smile when Jared told that story, just because I said, yep, that took a little
That's
longer than I expected.
right.
Like, did you ever hear the story? I don't know, like, how true is this? He once told me that he got in trouble for roping a kid in preschool.
Jared,
Yeah,
I'd believe it 100%.
I think he told me that story before I met you, and I'm like, I'm not shocked. I'm really not.
Makes
Like,
sense.
you had to be like he had to be the rowdiest little shit of a child.
I mean, did he ever calm down in
Uh,
a little bit?
define calming down at this point in his life. I don't know.
Definitely think having 3 kids has definitely toned him down quite a bit. I mean, he's still the same rambunctious person, but he's not the wild, like crazy child he used to be.
Oh, good God! And yeah, those stories are not making this show. I'll tell you that
Nope.
right now, folks. We get explicit on here, but
We're, you've probably heard a few tales of the take, but we're not going to every little damn detail.
and we would never air. Number one, never air our boys' business out in public. We are all of our own, our each other's black books. There's certain stuff that's going to the grave, and ain't nothing changing that. But yeah, let's just say that I say he's more subdued and more selective on how he reacts.
Yeah, because
But
back in the day, we had no like nothing to worry, like no kids or a family like that. Dear God, that man would fly off a handle, and he was not afraid. To, like literally, he could be in a bar. Somebody says the wrong thing to him, he'd be willing to go out and fight.
he had no governorship back then.
No, we tried. You and I have tried growing up throughout the years. We've tried to tame that man and try to steer him the right way. He wouldn't listen.
It's like a wild horse that doesn't want to be broken in.
Uh,
That's exactly who he was, and you know what? He had the long mane on his head to justify it.
yep.
Can't tell you how many women that y'all went to school with that were jealous of his hair.
Yep.
But it's crazy though when you look back like as kids, especially like with music. Certain artists that really like you heard colorful language, and you're like, well, what the hell is that?
Yep.
Like, who was it for you?
Uh, Little John, Ying
Oh,
Yang Twins.
I still struggle to grasp how looking at you as you are. I have known you for about a decade. Because you're like one of the most Caucasian looking people I know.
Until I'm out in the sun for like 3 months.
Yeah, you do bronze, pretty nicely. But like Yin Yang, Lil Jon, no. Like I can't even imagine you being one of those dudes running around putting the foil from gum wrappers in your
No,
teeth.
never did that. I
A fake
never
foil.
went that far. But
Oh,
like
okay.
I definitely was in the culture of my shorts have to be past my knees. Like if they're my shorts aren't like reaching down past my knees, they're too short.
Ah, so you were definitely trying to look like them franchise boys with the ultra long shorts and tall tees.
Yeah, well, I was a tall tees, but like I like my shorts past my knees.
I was definitely tall tees, tall jerseys, and everything, which looks fucking stupid on someone my height. I look like I'm wearing pajamas to school. Like a
Yep.
football jersey on me in high school, it's like a nightgown. I
Yep.
could have gotten away with that and wearing drawers underneath, and nobody would said
Yeah.
shit.
Well, the thing is though, like I did not do the sag though. I didn't go that far. I just want my shorts down past my knees.
Good. Always keep them on your damn waist. I never eat. It was a style, but it was silly
It,
look.
it was it was stupid because you know where that style came from, right?
Well, of course we know and know what that's all about. Wink, wink. If you know, you know.
Like
Um,
I'm the asshole at this point in time in my life. Like if I'd be half tipped if I had like my boys with me, see somebody like that, said, "Oh, are you inviting?"
hey, sir. oh,
Just to freak them the fuck out because
with
like I
music,
mean, you're
like the music, like music that I heard that had a lot of profanity was obviously like '90s hip hop. There's no way around that. And with
no.
a lot of it being, a lot of reality based, gritty, gangster rap, it's unapologetic and honest. And what you got is what you got. And yeah, you heard a lot of stuff you probably shouldn't have heard. And
Yep.
you know, I, but when it comes to children, my daughter, I think I've only heard her maybe curse 3 times. And
But
the
not
early,
with the small, like the low timey ones though, right?
yeah, like they're not big. I mean, yes, she did once drop an F bomb, but that's because of a YouTube video I was watching while she was getting her hair done, and her mother put the kibosh on that. And yeah, shout out to the angry video game nerd and your Godzilla episode for inspiring that. Um, it was weird, dude. With AVGN when she was a baby, like I would be feeding her, at the dinner table, and I would put on one of those episodes, And as soon as and you've watched AVGN before, as
Mm.
soon as the theme song starts, whatever she was doing, she would stop, and it's like she was in a trance. It was hilarious, and we didn't understand why. I wasn't mad at it because, like, at that time, I was at like the peak of my AVGN viewership, and I still do. But then then she dropped an F. I'm like, okay, that's not cool. So, and by this time, God, how old is she? 3 or 4? No, 3, I want to say. So no dice. Recently, and this was hilarious, and like it was harmless. She wanted to spend a Sunday watching wrestling because as a dad, I felt like I was lacking. I had never introduced her to lucha libre. She had never seen Rey Mysterio before. So I show her 3 matches of his. She really likes them, and then I decide I'm going to put on a whole pay per view so she gets more of a fuller experience. I picked the greatest Survivor Series of all time, 2002. That was the debut of the Elimination Chamber, and the opening match was like a 6-person elimination tables match. Um, and one guy got put through a table, and I hear in her bedroom, "What the hell was that?" And I'm like, and I had to tilt my neck like I had to do the Booker T. Tell me I didn't just hear that. You know, tell me I did not just hear that. Had to do one of those, and I peek in there, and she goes, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." I'm like, hey, not cool, but it's low key kind of funny because it's like one of those like, hey, it's not cool, but you give them a little bit of a dap, like, yeah, but you liked what you saw, didn't you?
Yeah.
Turns out it was Jeff Hardy putting a guy through a table because of course it was Jeff Hardy.
Yeah, I mean,
But
he was part. He's an innovator of the whole TLC crap.
exactly. But I mean, how fitting with that it was him. But point being, she doesn't speak like that. Obviously she's not raised that way. She knows better. She's honestly really good at self-policing herself on things she says, and not a lot of kids are self-aware to that degree. But we all had our phases.
Yep.
Everybody did. No one's exempt. However it was, and honestly, it's funny as long as children don't go overboard with it. But I'll be damned if I was gonna be cussing in my mama's presence. I would not be here right now. Ain't no way in hell. Switching gears to gaming a little bit, folks, and I'm sure those of you who listen out there that are gamers, by the way, also make sure if you haven't already, go subscribe to us on YouTube, Beards, Brews, and Bros podcast on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter at Beards_Bros, and also like us on Facebook. Do all the sharing. We're Apple Podcast, Spotify. We're everywhere. We're global.
Sharing is caring.
Absolutely, and we care about you, and we love you. Now switching to gaming, we Xbox just recently had their showcase for their lineup of 2023 games. I'm not like there was only one game I was like ultra up for on the showcase that I watched, and that was obviously Forza Motorsport,
Mhm.
which already have the pre-installation set on my Series X, which that will come out in the fall. But you, sir,
I had two games
you
that stood out to me.
yeah, you have a lot more investment in the Xbox showcase. I'm gonna leave the stage and let you tell the folks all about it.
The two games that really stuck out to me was we're finally getting another Fable. Uh, I really don't know what the context of it is, where they're going with it. Uh, it looked really good. It's got some elements we don't think we've seen in a Fable game yet. Looks like the gameplay looks significantly different. Granted, if that's the actual gameplay,
Yeah,
but the trailer looked clean. It looked like it was gonna be entertaining. Because the thing with Fable is, yes, it is a fantasy RPG game, but there are some funny elements. I mean, literally, in the first game, you had a mini game where you'd see how far you kick a fucking chicken.
I'm sorry. What?
Yeah, like there's a mini game where you see how far you kick a chicken on a dock to score points.
That is ridiculous and funny as shit.
Yep,
That's
it's
fucking
a,
awesome.
there's so many good elements. Like Fable's just a fun franchise. I'm happy to see them bringing it back. A lot of people say the third one was the worst of the series. It took a lot of liberties and it took a different approach compared to the other two. Granted, to this day, Fable 2 is still considered the best of the series, and I really can't argue with that because it was a open world Fable game with so much you could do.
That's pretty. I did play a little bit of that. I'm not very familiar with the entire history of the franchise, but I did play some Fable 2 and really enjoyed what I liked or what I
Yeah.
experienced there.
So I'm saying I'm happy about that one. And the big one was we got some gameplay or some details about Starfield. Holy shit!
Yeah, I saw this, and I'm not familiar, but any open world, and in this case, open galaxy.
Like,
I never seen anything. I never seen a game so massive that
no,
might be able to legitimately pull it off. Unlike No Man's Sky, which they just didn't have they didn't have the technology and they didn't have the ability to make that game match the ambition. This, however, is a whole different animal.
yeah, it's massive, massive open world, like open worlds. Whatever to say, like it's just a massive game. The big thing that stood out for me, doing some deep diving into it, was your character creation, your traits and stuff affect the game. Like it'll affect how you
Everything around you.
yes, how certain people interact with you. Like if you pick the uh uh folk hero or something like that, whatever, you'll
Mm-hmm.
have a random dude, whatever, following around, wanting to join your crew, who's a big fan of yours, and
Oh,
it's like
cool.
they can be, like I said, it's a useful crew member, but can you deal with them being annoying? So it's like, so the thing is this: I haven't seen a game have that kind of element in it since Dragon Age Origins. In Origins, you literally whatever race you picked or background you picked, that affected exactly how the world viewed you and treated you. Me, I only ever really played the game as a Dalish elf, so wood elf kind of thing,
Yeah.
and the way I was treated in the game was significantly different if I was like a noble human. So
Wow.
like,
I like that.
so it's that was Bioware. So Bethesda pulling something like this off, like I'm hoping this puts Bethesda back in good graces, considering the issues we've had with other games.
Oh wow, man. Now speaking of Starfield, I just happened to come across that Microsoft is releasing a Starfield limited edition wireless controller. This thing is gorgeous. Holy cow. The
There's a
D-pad
whole
is gold.
there's a whole like I think there's a pre-order bundle or whatnot you can do. It's like $500.
And the wireless headset Starfield limited edition for 125.
Yep. Like I said, really
That
cool.
is,
I'm not buying any of that stuff. Like
I know.
I just want a Xbox Series X and the game so I can play it because that game will suck my life.
Yeah, it absolutely will. See, that's the thing with me is that if I'm going to play a game that big, I cannot play anything else.
Oh,
And
100%.
dude, mentally, I'm already distracted. And from a gaming perspective, I'm preoccupied with Mortal Kombat 1
Yep.
already.
Yep.
And AEW Fight Forever, which comes out at the end of this month, which looks absolutely freaking fun. And of course Forza Motorsport, which will come out later on in the year, and also and I just want to do a go back a little bit with Fable. The release date is set for sometime in 2024. There is no set date yet or time, but sometime in
Honest,
2024.
honestly, as long as it's done well and it's clean, I could care less when it comes out.
Pretty much, and that's all we ask for out of our games.
Speaking
That's
of
it.
one thing about Starfield, I believe the devs announced it is locked at 30 frames a second.
Honestly, given how massive the game is, it may have to be, except for PC, of course. I mean, it's
No,
different.
it's they're saying it's. I think they're saying it's locked at 30 frames a second. You can't get any better than that.
Wow.
And
Oh,
here's the thing. Yes, better frames, sure, that's great, but it's like I could care less how many frames it runs at. I mean, hell, how many of the old games that we I think are goated run at significantly less frames than that?
yeah, fair.
So it's like as long as the game is clean, it's not too buggy. Oh, they're saying this is the least. If Starfield released right now, it has the least amount of bugs than any other released Bethesda game.
All right, now that's very encouraging, but I mean, it also doesn't speak well to previous releases.
I mean, here's the thing. It's at a point in time, bugs in Bethesda games are their thing. We
Yeah,
accept it.
it's just
It's
something you learn to
it's not
live
a bug.
with.
It's a feature.
Yeah, almost like, hey, less bugs, everyone. This game is not as glitchy.
I mean, every hell, anybody who's played Skyrim has done the whole glitch their way up a mountain on a horse.
Was there anything else from Xbox Showcase 2023 that got your attention?
That's it. Those are the only two things that really for me. Because again, I've been a fan of the Fable franchise since I was in junior high. I remember playing it on my PC. Fable: Lost Chapters on my PC. Back when it was like to install, it was like 4 discs.
For this, that'll be a topic for another day. Another thing kids of today would not understand. One game having to be released on 3 to 4 discs.
Yep. I mean,
Unless
hell.
unless you go to your local game store and find a copy of Final Fantasy VII on PS1.
I mean, hell. Even back in the day, they did that to me years ago. In the Final Fantasy game that's on the 360 was, I think, 2 or 3 discs.
It probably had to be because
It's,
Microsoft did not use Blu-rays.
yeah. Yeah. Also, did you see that there's a demo out for Final Fantasy 16 now?
Yes, there is. I did.
I'm I'm like, I would love to check that out, but I'm afraid how much that's gonna like require to run.
Yeah, just for a demo.
Yeah.
Because that's where we're at, and that's where we are at in gaming
But
now.
but
Is
hey,
that
demoing it gives me hope that maybe if it is players aren't happy with something, they'll fix it.
oh, of course, and hey, that gives the consumer time to air any grievances they have, and developers, if they choose to
Yeah.
listen, will fix them. Hey, look at what the people who made Sonic the Hedgehog the movie did once.
Yep.
That right there always gives me hope. That always gives me a
Yep.
lot of hope
Because
that hey, maybe she'll listen.
yeah, it's the thing is this: ignore your analytics or whatever analytics you're using. Go to your source. Go to your gamers. Ask them what they want.
Unless you're EA, because they damn sure don't listen to us.
Now,
I'm in a
anal
very good mood today. I do not want to start bitching about Madden 24. I've seen the trailer, and all I'm gonna say is they do a great job of hiding everything wrong with their gameplay to people that don't know better.
I mean, here's the thing: they're trying to get people to buy their game to play football. So I mean, you just gotta take it as you can. Like some developers are AAA developers are just gonna be hot garbage. Other ones are gonna try to try keyword there, do better. But at the end of the day, you just don't hold your breath on anything.
The ones who try don't have the financial means and resources to make the best game that they want to make, especially if
But
you work at EA.
here's the thing: they might have less resources, but they tend to put out better games.
Agree.
Like here's the thing: I'll tell this about anybody out there. Go online, find an indie passion project. I guarantee you, eight about 8 times out of 10, it's gonna be better than any game released by a AAA company.
Or for those in the PC community and the modding community, and if you do console emulation, go and find people who are rebuilding classic games that were fun the first time you played them and making the experience even better.
Yep.
That's honestly for me, that's bread and butter,
Hmm.
because I can go back and play like NFL 2K football. I have a mod of it where you can play it in 4K with real player faces of guys playing today. Today, this game came out in 2004. It cost $20 when it came out by design. But that's our take on Xbox Showcase 2023 and a small little side tangent there that could have gone on a whole hell of a lot longer. Trust me.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, I ain't got that much time. I ain't had that much beer. Now we're gonna kind of take this next segment here and make it a little bit of the retro rewind, which we have not done in a long, long time. But in a way, it kind of is, because I got to thinking, when you're a child, you have your you have TV shows and movies, video games, books, what have you. And as an adult, you'll look back on them and think, "Damn, those were the best times." You know, we are all guilty of wearing rose-colored glasses, but if you ever stop to think something that you just loved and no one could tell you that it wasn't the shit, you go back and watch it, you know, with a little bit more perspective, a little bit more knowledge, and you're like, this was kind of shit. You
Yep.
know, like it's a dump. Like it's like a place that you used to live, you have a lot of fond memories of, but you didn't realize was a dump just
Mm-hmm.
because it's what number one is what you're used to and you have a lot of fond memories of. And a movie you brought up and it ties into bad video game movies, uh Double Dragon. I love the early days of Double Dragon.
It was
That
back in the day. That movie was so cool. I think I watched it. I don't couldn't tell you how many times, but God, looking back and watching, it's like this was corny and kooky as fuck.
But here's my take on Double Dragon. Since you're bringing that one up, that movie knows what it is and doesn't take itself too seriously. Did it stick completely to the story of the four video games, the main four? No. You know, it gave you enough fan service, but Robert Patrick looked cool as shit,
Mm-hmm.
and Alyssa Milano, Daisy Dukes, how you doing? Nothing more. And also, the guy who played Jimmy Lee also went on to be the host of Iron Chef. So that's pretty cool in itself. But yeah, that movie is nowhere near as great. But the thing is, like a movie that you're blinded by nostalgia with. Some of them you can still go back and watch. You know, like it's an enjoyable or popcorn time.
Yep.
You know, and you gave me a lot of flack for this one, and down in December or something we could talk more about Christmas movies, and I cannot fully explain why. I really can't, because I still like this movie. Jingle All the Way is not as funny as I remember. Go on, go on.
It's I don't know, like it's like maybe just the humor, or whatnot, or the fact of just like you've probably seen too much of the current Arnold Schwarzenegger to think that like how can they be the same person?
Not completely true, because dude was funny in Twins with Danny DeVito, which is a classic. Kindergarten Cop is still funny as hell to me. It's
Yep.
not a Thuma, you know. That's
Yep.
funny. I can't explain why. It's just not like, yeah, the scenes where he's trying to get the doll back by any means, and he goes to the factory of Santas. I think like the giant one was the Big Show. I think. Uh, and then the parade with Sinbad, who is absolutely hilarious, and his sleazy neighbor trying to scoop in on his wife at all costs, Phil Hartman. I just can't explain why that movie does not hit the same for me, and it's not like it's a whole I'm older thing. I don't know, man. It I don't know. It just doesn't. It's not terrible though.
Yeah.
Far
I mean,
from.
I mean,
Were there any
hell, I'm
like TV shows that were like addictive to you that you're looking back like, man, I don't know if I could sit there and just like watch that regularly now?
I'm trying to think. I honestly can't think of anything. I mean, I said we talked earlier a little bit. Like I said, I can only watch episodes of Futurama before I'm just kind of like turning it off. But I think that's mainly just because Hulu's got unskippable ads, so like it kills my flow of watching it.
Yeah, because you don't want to have a pause right when business is picking up.
Yeah, and like I said, I love Futurama. It's a great show. I'm still waiting for the new episodes to come out, whenever that's gonna be.
hmm Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, we're all excited about that. Same for me with King of the Hill.
I I've never been a huge fan of King of the Hill. I've enjoyed some of the stuff they've done, but just like for me, King of the Hill was never that great.
Jared will be so disappointed in you.
Jared's always disappointed me. What are you talking
He
about?
finds something to be disappointed about you at least on a weekly basis.
Or something about one of us to be disappointed with.
Wah wah. Now,
Honestly, like here's the counter thing. Like me, I'm a big Power Rangers fan, but going back and watching the original Mighty Morphin Power
oh,
Rangers, it's cringe.
but it's supposed to be like, dude. Basically, that shit is like Saved by the Bell meets Japanese Rubber Suit Monsters.
Yep.
It's supposed to be. And yeah, is the dialogue, cheesy as shit? Yeah. But you know what I'm here for? The badass music, the cheesy rubber suit monsters and the Megazord forming. That's what I'm here for. Also, gotta see my man, Zach the Black Ranger do his thing.
Yeah.
Gotta represent. But yeah, of course that's bad. Honestly, I'll give you another one. It's a knockoff of one of the many Power Rangers knockoffs. Do you remember VR Troopers?
Yep.
So cheesy.
So I mean, so is Beetleborgs.
You know what the problem is? They didn't have the charm. They didn't have the charisma and the energy that Power Rangers gave you. Plus, when Power Rangers storytelling was on point, as a kid, it was unbeatable.
Yep.
I mean, come on, anything involving the Green Ranger, get real.
Yep.
Also,
are you gonna watch Legend of the White Dragon when it comes out?
fuck yeah. You kidding me?
We really need to get together and watch as a group.
We and just to honor JDF, we all have to. God, and you know what? He's gonna look really, really awesome as Lord Drac, and I cannot wait to see how everything pans out and just how he looks and him getting, to be a villain. Like
that's not what this movie's about.
But still, him as Lord Drac.
This is nothing Power Rangers.
What am I thinking of then? I'm thinking of something.
Legend of the White Dragon is very Power Ranger-esque, and there's gonna be a lot of former Power Rangers in it, but it's not Power Rangers.
Oh, I'm thinking of something completely different. I think I got it crossed. I got it crossed up with the actual game, the Battle for the Grid game that Jared got me into. Because also sidebar, that game is hard as shit. I'll give you a cartoon that doesn't stick near as well with me anymore, and it's a shame because it's still really cool to me. This hurts. Rocket Power, not the same. Not the same.
I get it.
Not the same, but it's still cool as fuck because that was in my I want to be a skateboarder so bad phase.
I want to be a skater dude or a surfer dude so bad.
Yeah, and they made it look so cool, and I think why is just because once I realized, I can't do any of this shit. Like it's for then to me, it just became a fun little watch, but nothing I had to invest into. Like I invested into watching Recess or X-Men the animated series or shit.
Hey, we're getting ready for X-Men 97.
I am so ready for that shit. You know why? Because number one, theme song is not getting messed with at all. That's the tone setter. That locks you in for the rest of the show. The animation, I believe, is going to stay relatively the same. And season 5 never happened.
I still need to go back and watch watch as much of it as I can. It's on Disney Plus.
Yeah, it is.
That's an investment, and just like I hate it. As you get older, you have less time to invest in things, so you become very selective about what you invest in.
Yeah, no, you gotta make sure what you're putting your time into is going to maximize your enjoyment. You absolutely do. And come on, I have full faith that's not gonna let anybody down.
Yep.
Because once we read that like the core of the show was being kept intact, praise Marvel, praise Stan Lee.
Yep.
Nothing's changing there. So yeah, X-Men 97, I'm super cool on. Very excited about that. For folks who listen to the show, and when you catch this episode, let us know, and then we'll post the question on Facebook. For those who follow the show, let us know if there's anything that you grew up absolutely loving, just thought was the coolest show in the world. All of a sudden, you realize, damn, it's not as sweet as I remember. I got another one, and this was, and the thing is, I looked up to this guy, and I still do, as a fan, but as a person, we all worry about him. Jackass does not hit the same for me like it used to.
The thing is, when we're younger, it's funny. When we get older, we're like, that's so stupid.
That's very stupid. Did you ever do any stunts you saw on that show?
No, I never watched Jackass.
I did. Well, you probably weren't allowed to. I did the shopping cart shit.
Also, here's the thing. I'm a very analytical person. You forget this. So I look at the stuff you're doing, like, why?
I can be, but like as a teenager, you're also kind of impulsive and dumb as shit at times.
I mean, here's the thing. Go jump off a cliff, do cliff diving. Sure, I would probably try that when I was younger. But like,
Why would you do that now?
I get hurt. I'm gonna be if I hurt myself, I'm gonna be hurting for a while.
And unless you're a trained professional or just an adrenaline junkie, which I like my feet on the damn ground, thank you very much, and my body.
I mean, you're not wrong, but like, cliff jumping, I would probably do it in a heartbeat. But like, I'm gonna sit here and get kicked in the nuts. Why?
Yeah. What did I gain from that? 'Cause now I feel like shit.
Yeah, it's the equivalent of you're the idiot at school who would do anything for a buck.
Yeah. Which, granted, I was never that kid, but
Or
I
for
just thought,
attention, whatever.
yeah, no, never was an attention seeker. But I just thought some of that shit was like the funniest on earth. The prank that Bam Margera pulled on his mom Ape with the alligator. That was in the movie, and he finally got her to cuss on camera. That was funny to me. The thing is, Jackass is not as funny to me anymore, but Viva La Bam, no matter what, will never not be hilarious to me. That show was like my biggest addiction next to watching Pimp My Ride in high school.
We all had our guilty pleasures.
Yeah, well, yeah. If you ever read what happened to the people's cars from Pimp My Ride, those things broke down so much because of course everything they put in there is so impractical. Like, what are we doing? If you can't do it in Need for Speed Underground, ain't no way you're able to drive that thing. And
Oh, I just thought of another TV show that like back in the day I loved.
oh yeah,
But
go ahead.
but like, God, is it corny? Earth Final Conflict.
I have never watched that one, so why don't you fill me in?
It's essentially it's like the 21st century, and essentially Earth gets visited by an alien race, and they share the technology, but in reality, they're there for the ulterior motives.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like there's a resistance against them, and then the people that work with them. It's a really cool idea or whatnot, but like it was a '90s sci-fi show. Like it's like cool concept, but it's a bit corny.
I bet the special effects sucked.
Actually, for the time frame, they weren't that bad.
Right on, cool.
Like, give me a second.
Yeah, pull something
And
up and um, maybe send me something over so I could get an idea. Because certain studios they knew how to use to do visual effects. Some just did not. I thought I got another show, and granted, as a young boy, nobody I did not care about how corny I thought this show was, and obviously it's kind of corny. Xena Warrior Princess was corny as hell,
so
but
so was Hercules
oh,
the Hercules Adventures.
but guess what? As a young boy, I was not watching Hercules for Hercules. Like, I was watching that for action.
Uh,
Xena, I was looking at Lucy Lawless.
it's yeah.
But
That's
that show is super a product of its time.
here's a clip or a image of the alien and some special effects.
All right, let's see what we got here, just to take a look, because I'm pretty curious because I never heard of this show. I also used to think Stargate SG-1 was like the coolest looking
It
show in
still
the
is
entire world.
amazing. It's still
That's
amazing.
pretty good, actually. That's
But
pretty
like
good.
like I said, it's kind of nowadays. Plus, it was a very short series. Like I think it only ran like 5 seasons.
That's not short. That's a solid
Compare.
run.
Here's the thing: Stargate ran like 11. I mean, here's the thing: the average TV series back then or whatnot ran to about 8 to 9.
Hmm.
So like for something like that to only go like 4 or 5 seasons.
Okay, comparatively speaking, yeah, that's not a world beating run.
No,
Folks,
the thing is, I would watch that Saturday nights between 10 and 1 o'clock in the morning.
that sounds like the time I'll be watching The Outer Limits.
Yep, the same time span. Outer Limits. It came on during because I remember I would watch Stargate SG-1, this Outer Limits. Oh my god, Outer Limits was some of the best horror out
Yeah,
there.
but
Like, if you want to get freaked out, watch Outer Limits. You will question your sanity.
good luck trying to go to sleep as a kid after seeing some shit like
Yeah.
that. But folks, we will pose the question about everything like shows, music, whether it's music videos, TV shows, movies, video games, any medium of entertainment that you absolutely loved as a kid, but getting a second chance to look back at it, it's kind of makes you wince. Like, hey, what the hell was I watching? We're gonna post the question to Facebook, and we want to hear from you. And to wrap things up today, this is a question that we posed, and I'm going to go ahead and pull up the results on Facebook because this one was a lot of fun. First and foremost, I want to give a shout out to Pat Sajak, who announced recently he is retiring after 41 years of filming Wheel of Fortune, which is just an all-time show. I don't care who you are, you wanted to be on the wheel. You yelled at people when they got the letters wrong on a really tight puzzle that was almost solved, or if they hit solve the puzzle and they guessed wrong when it was obvious, you just wanted to kill them, right? But everybody wanted to be on that kind of show, and here in just a minute, we're going to pull up some of the answers we got whenever we posed the question. As a child, what game shows did you want to be on as a kid? Now, come on, if you had Nickelodeon, it starts and stops with Guts for me.
Yep.
I mean, come on, that theme song.
Legend of the Hidden Pimple.
Hell yeah. Okay, I have one problem with that show. You cannot have those temple guards running up and grabbing me from behind.
Yep.
No, sir.
That was terrifying, especially like if you were the second runner, you watch your teammate get grabbed. You're like, oh shit! Because they were grabbed, they were pulled off stage. You didn't know where they went,
and you didn't see them. Again, it's like, yo, they're gone. Like they got sent to the shadow room, especially in a really difficult room like that stupid ass Shrine of the Silver Monkey. I hate that thing.
That monkey puzzle was difficult.
It was terrible. So here's some of the shows we got. First one, and we'll go ahead and give names out to those who contributed. Say big thank you to first childhood friend of mine, Mr. Charlie Smith, who just became a dad. So congratulations to him with his baby boy and his wife.
Your life is over.
Supermarket Sweep, hell yeah! I used to watch that all the time on Lifetime.
Okay.
Now, the worst part about watching Supermarket Sweep is watching that shit when you have nothing to eat at home.
Yeah.
Because that'll make you hungry as hell. And we got a lot of people here that said The Price is Right. I mean, I think that goes without saying.
Yeah.
And how many sick days at home did you spend with Bob?
A lot.
Now, within the realm of The Price is Right, what game would you have wanted to play the most on there?
I don't know. It's been so long since I've watched The Price is Right. I don't remember all the games.
Dude, Plinko, Hole in One, Cliffhanger with the little hitchhiker going up the hill. And if you overbid, he falls off.
Yep.
They play the music and shit.
Now, I'll say, probably a game show I really wanted to be a part of because I thought, oh, that's not hard. Surviving was Survivor.
Nah, you ain't putting no black folks on Survivor. Fuck out of here. Not this one. Nah. Wasn't it revealed? Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't it revealed that they weren't actually on in deserted areas?
I don't remember. I don't know.
I always heard a rumor that it actually was, and it was just off the shore of California or Florida or somewhere.
Here's one for you.
Shoot.
The Mole.
Whoa! Whoa! Shout out to you, The Mole from ABC. Damn. Now that is a real blast from the past. Bill the folks in on that one. Tell them about The Mole. That was a sneaky underrated show.
So essentially, the purpose was you had a bunch of people, music celebrities. I think it was all celebrities who got together, and they were. It was a weeks long thing of every week they'd go through it, do challenges and whatnot, and each challenge would give a hint to who the mole was, and the mole was simply there to try to sabotage. At the end of the show, they'd answer questions about who the mole was, and what mole did throughout the episode, through the challenges and whatnot. And the player who got the least correct was sent home. And at the end of the day, at the end of the series, whoever the last person could figure out, or was closest to figure out who the mole was, won a bunch of money. Because I really remember this because Dennis Rodman was on it one time and he won the mole.
What?
Yep.
Well, chalk that up, ladies and gentlemen. A member of the New World Order won ABC's The Mole. I remember that show kind of vaguely, but it's definitely, as soon as you said that, it hit a big nostalgia nerve in my brain.
Yeah.
Wow, out of nowhere, like an
Yeah.
RKO.
Let's be honest. Everybody thought they could go on Wipeout and do better than anybody on there.
Oh, of course. No, you know, your couch athletes. Oh God, that guy, that guy or that girl. Geez, look how clumsy they are. I'd clear that in seconds.
Yep.
That
It's
that
like,
one absolutely kills me.
yep. Or they think Ninja Warrior's easy. Like, sorry, Wipeout was difficult. Ninja Warrior's a whole nother beast.
Like your CrossFit better be on damn point.
Yeah. And the thing is this: I'm not talking about American Ninja Warrior. I'm talking about the Japanese Ninja Warrior. Matt Toriyama, I think is what's called.
I don't
Like
know about that one.
no, that's where it started. It started in Japan. And essentially, I remember, I'm not sure what it was like that, but years ago, it used to be whoever won at American Ninja Warrior got an invite to go to Ninja Warrior and compete.
Oh, rock on. No, I never knew that.
Yeah, I remember watching it and whatnot. Like, oh my god, this is amazing. Because like the actual Ninja Warrior is like it's so cool. Like the Japanese one, it's so much better.
See, I'll have to look into that and check it out. Now let's go back to our question and see some other suggestions. You know, we mentioned Nickelodeon. How did we not bring up Double Dare or Family Double Dare?
I never watched Double Dare.
Oh, how dare you! You got Paramount Plus?
No,
Go get Paramount Plus. It's got all the
I
Nickelodeon.
don't have the money for that.
$6.
Yeah, I've $600 when I'm about to move.
Fine, whatever. Anyway, Double Dare was so freaking cool with the physical challenges. Like you had to pull the flag from the big nose that had the slime in it. Of course,
Okay, now you mentioned that, I faintly remember it.
do your damn homework. I'm so disappointed in
Well,
you.
here's the question: is I didn't even watch Nickelodeon unless I was at my grandma's house, and I was like, my grandma passed away when I was 12.
You didn't have cable, did you?
No,
I didn't like we did intermittently, so like here and there. You
nope.
know, especially when you had the old cable box where you had to go up and manually change it on top of the TV. You know, every once in a while we had that. So here's some other submissions here, and thank goodness. And this shout out to an old coworker of mine at the vaunted call center of doom, Christina. Thank you for this one, sweetie. She said Double Dare and American Gladiators.
Yes.
Damn straight. By the way,
Yes.
did you know that every episode of American Gladiators is up on their YouTube channel, and
Oh
it is
my god.
freaking cool. Also,
Yes.
another shout out to one of my new favorite podcasts. Actually, is hosted by one of my childhood crushes. She was Gladiator Ice on the show. She has a podcast called Chillin' with Ice, and she, by the way, 59 years old, still unfairly gorgeous. But yeah, I super wanted to be on that in the big Atmosphere, that big ball you had to push, not realizing as a kid how heavy those things were. You
You
know,
had to be in
Powerball.
shape. Like the thing is, like those gladiators weren't messing around. Like honestly, the one event when I was younger, I thought, shoot, I could wreck the gladiators. Was the rings?
What's in it? Hang Tough.
Yeah, I was like, oh, God, I could beat them on that.
Ah man,
No,
lower.
here's why. When I was watching it, I was still in gymnastics, so I had to do the rings. So like, oh, swing around or whatnot. I know how to move my body, no problem. They'll never catch me.
Yeah, freaking right. And then yeah, just wait until one of them wraps their legs around you and crushes you and crushes your shit in half.
I mean, it
Oh,
would have been hard. I was a tiny little shit.
yeah, you would have thought so, but no, I love listening to her podcast. Her real name's Lori Fetrick. She, still a big fitness, guru, and I recommend you check it out if you want. Especially, she interviews a bunch of the old gladiators, and they tell stories and everything. Recently, ESPN did a 30 for 30 on them, part one of two, and it is garbage. They basically talk about this sleazy dude who put the show together like he was the star, and he actually said, I could put anybody in a helmet and they'd be a star on that show. Like basically saying that the brand American Gladiator sold the show, but not the individuals themselves.
Oh no, there was like you know how many videos now come out are like there's like the fastest gladiator elimination or fastest player elimination or whatnot.
Yep.
It's like the gladiators, like there were certain gladiators you were like, I hope to God I don't come up against them.
No, like you thought they were legit, like well, I'm sure like a few of them were probably like legit badasses. I
Yeah,
wouldn't
I
mess
think
with.
wasn't one of them named Titan.
Yeah, there was a big dude named Titan. He was like a fill-in. I think it was season 4. A handful of the originals did a walkout because they were not getting paid for any merchandise at all. So yeah, I think it was Ice, Gemini, and Nitro, and another one that walked out. I mean, they eventually, Ice and Nitro eventually came back and finished out the series. But yeah, they'd have like fill-in people there, but then you had guys like Laser who was on like every episode. In Mortal Kombat Annihilation, the dude who played Jax,
Hmm.
yeah, that Saber from American Gladiators.
Oh, Saber.
Yeah, and he's
Like
on the ESPN doc now. Netflix is doing one that where they're interviewing like all of the gladiators, and it's more
I'll
honest.
I'll probably watch that.
That I think is June 28th. On Netflix is when that one will be on. But yeah,
So
that
next week.
show flat out go to like I could go to YouTube like after like later in the day and watch that stuff, and I'll just hear da 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 in my sleep.
Yeah, it's like I'm sorry. American Gladiator was ahead of its time.
The UK has rebooted the show.
Yeah, I think the closest we got to like a modern day one was Titan Games.
Yeah, which she said I was listening to the last Chilling with Ice episode, and she said that Vince McMahon was in the process of rebooting the show here in the United States, but Vince got in hot water because, of course, da da
It's
da.
Vince.
We're not going to get into that. So that got dropped. But in the UK, the show has been fully rebooted. They've with new Gladiators cast. We did get a reboot of that show in the mid 2000s, but it was done in the style of the UK show. And apparently, NBC wanted nothing to do with the original cast that people in America knew. Make it make sense.
Honestly, like that'll be great to do. Like
Hmm.
if they may reboot it, like occasionally bring on some of these like influencers and just watch them get crushed.
Ah, ha, 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 sure. That would be absolutely hilarious. The end of American Gladiators, the one we had, did like specials like that where they'd have like pro football players come on or actors and actresses. There's actually an episode where they had the gal who played the Tool Time girl on competing.
Nice.
And there was another one with Dean Cain, Superman from back in the day, because he played college football against one of the gladiators who's no longer with us anymore. And there was like a Princeton, um, Cornell rivalry deal going on there. Let's take a look at some other suggestions. Like I said, we got a lot of prices, right? You can't go wrong. Yeah, Double Dare, Legends of the Hidden Temple, of course. Here's one that actually does my heart really good because we had the board game of it. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
I never played the board game. I watched my dad play the NES version, where in time is Carmen Sandiego.
I remember Where in Time as
And then,
well.
and then growing up on the PC, I played Where in the World and Where in the US is Carmen Sandiego.
We had the board game. I also with the game show on PBS. You had the acapella group that would always sing in and stuff. And then Fox had a really stylish cartoon of Carmen Sandiego. I was always
Yep.
curious, I'm like, I wonder if there's someone in the world actually like her. I was really fascinated because you also got to learn a little bit about history
Oh,
with
it was
a
a
show like
great
that.
learning tool because like it was like,
Definitely.
oh, play Where in the World. You have to learn, like you have to like get these clues and be like, okay, where is this in the world? Or honestly, USA was easier because we live in USA. But it's
Yeah.
like you learned about different things in the US. You had like a certain amount of time to track down the villain uh before you like, move to so many different places. It's like it was such a good learning tool.
Yeah, it
Like
was.
how
And
do you go ahead.
no, that was the big key with a show like that was just, an example of making education fun.
Yep.
And you wanted to watch more so you could learn more and be entertained at the same time. Yeah, man. it was great seeing all of these suggestions, and we want to say thank you to everybody who contributed to our Triple B's question of the week, which I'm going to start doing from now on. Which today we're going to post the one that will carry over to next week about shows
The
that
next episode.
the next episodes shows that you know that aren't as fresh to you as they were when you were a child. We'll come up with another question throughout the week, and we'll keep this thing rolling. This was a lot of fun, and we thank you
We
for all of your
we
everybody.
love audience interactions.
Yeah, definitely. And we may be doing another ask the brew crew anything, and well,
You may or may not
that
get answers depending on what you ask.
depends, but we may get some wild out of left field questions. But once again, feel free to hit us up on all of our platforms. This was a lot of fun as always, and we thank y'all for kicking it with us on this edition of Triple B's. Once again, Jared just needs a nap, quite frankly. Work's been kicking his ass, and we told him we'll take the baton. We got it from here, and he'll get his rest, and we'll have him back on for the next episode. Um, Anything else from you, Mr. Moss? How you feeling today?
uh, just gonna work and do my thing, and then once wife gets home, drive Poplar Bluff.
Yeehaw. Well, I'm probably gonna go get myself a little nap because I have to make up for all the naps that I neglected as a child. So I'm gonna go
Right?
get mine right after this. I'm gonna have a fun weekend with my daughter. Can't wait. I now get to beat. I have to find something to beat her, and she kicked my ass in Yahtzee. Never teach your children Yahtzee, ladies and gentlemen, because it will come back to bite you. She beat me by a very nice number of points.
Here's the thing. You just find yourself an old school fighting game. It'll put her in her place.
Oh man, like I don't want to be that dad. Like I beat her. Like we played Mario Kart together, and she always says it's just for fun, Dad. And it is legitimately is. I don't get like that when it comes to stuff.
Fair.
You know,
When I have kids, they're gonna get no mercy.
like okay, it's not like my sister Jay who straight up said when it comes to playing any kind of card game, everybody can get it. I do agree with that, but like I don't know, I'm not wired like that.
I'm sorry. I was raised. I've said this before. I was raised where my dad gave me no leg to stand on. It was you were gonna beat me. You're gonna have to beat me. I'm not gonna pull my punches.
I
Like
agree.
it took me. He taught me canasta. I maybe beat him a handful of times out of all times we played. So it's like even when we were doing back in the day, there's a pinball game on the Super NES, and we played as a family. Like everybody get take turn. We pass each other around playing pinball. My dad would smoke us most of the time.
And you only get better from defeat. Like I
Yep.
said, I've beaten her and stuff. She's beaten me in a few things, but I
Yep.
also see what I like to do because my way of helping her get better is show her where she can improve instead of just rubbing it in her face. But with children, if they beat you in anything as an adult, you're never going to hear the end of it.
Nope.
That's the one thing. So every time someone would bring up that she beat me, whether it was me telling the story for the first time or she'll go tell somebody and she'll immediately go, I'm like, oh God. And now I
You
remember
put them
now
in their place.
she looked like me at the age of 8 beating my brother's dad at Killer Instinct on Super Nintendo. Now I see why he was so annoyed with me. He didn't speak to me for 2 days.
Not gonna lie, my kids start getting us later on in life. My kids start getting a smart mouth about first person shooters. We're going Halo.
Oh no, you need to go Modern Warfare or you need to go COD lobby on them.
No, COD was never my thing. Halo was.
Ooh,
I'm
Halo
just gonna.
lobby's brutal too.
I'm just gonna take them to Halo 2 Lockout.
Start no scope.
Swords and shotguns. Small map with swords and shotguns.
Wait, energy swords weren't on Halo 2,
Yes, they were.
are they?
I can't tell you how many times me, my brothers, and a couple of friends we play this map with swords and shotguns. That's it, and grenades, dude. It was a fucking bloodbath because it was. Are you fast on your trigger with a shotgun than I am with my lunge,
Oh,
or am I
damn.
gonna? Am I just gonna sword kill you? It was a brutal map.
See, I can't remember the name of the map, but my go-to game is in Halo 3 with Shoddy Snipers.
Yeah.
Love Shoddy Snipers. It's a mix of long range and close range.
Yep.
Love that shit. So the day you have children and they want to get out of pocket, yeah, you punish them with some classic Halo. I'm
That
cool
or
with that.
that or take them to Blood Gulch.
Byron, now that's abuse. That's
Uh,
abuse.
I don't play nice.
Fair enough. Hey, shout out to all of our listeners who have children. If you've ever had to put them in their place with gaming, hey, shout out to you. Cause I'm not to that point yet. Everything is fun. Everything's cool. Maybe a point when we got to get there. I mean, like
Uh,
the harshest we get is Mario Kart Double Dash. That's about
yeah,
it.
yeah. I remember one time in college, uh, we were playing. We went to the basement. We hooked up two 360s and played Halo Reach.
Nice.
We were playing. What mode was it? It was one where headshots were instant death.
Hmm.
SWAT. We were playing SWAT.
Yeah.
I smoked everybody.
Impressive.
It was like no joke. They was like, okay, we're playing SWAT. Okay, and you're dead. And running around. I think I won by a margin of 10.
That's insane, dude. See, first off, we'd have to fight. Like,
Yeah.
big old facts. I'd have to stomp you out, like, for real. You want to talk about some no mercy shit? Imagine getting your ass kicked by someone who's barely above the height to be avoiding being a little person. That's embarrassing. Well, folks, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up shop here. It has been another great episode of Triple B's. As always, we thank you for your continued support. Road to 1K subs. We'll once Jared wakes up from his hibernation, we will have him back on for the next episode and be on the lookout
maybe,
for
maybe.
our maybe. We'll be on the lookout for our next Triple B's question of the week. So check us out. Remember, we're on Facebook. Like us or follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Tell all your friends. One is moderately handsome, the other one is gorgeous. How you doing? So anyway, we will see you for the next go round. Until then, be kind and always rewind. For the hibernating Jared Mossman and Byron Moss, this is Mr. K Rob. We will holler at you on the next one. Peace.
Peace.